Welcome back, everybody, to A-Mtn Echo. It's yours truly, Jonah, and we got Frankie with us as well. We're going to talk more of high school football and college football with the Aggies dropping their second consecutive loss, which I was there the other day. It was sucky, but and then we're gonna hint a little bit about the other sports, but we got some other stuff in the works going on. So just stay tuned for that, right, Frankie?
Yes, absolutely. We try to hit every sport, and we got a little bit of some backlash on how the quality the quality of the coverage, which I knew was going to be a problem. But I just wanted to make sure that we touched on it, so we had a good baseline to what's happening. I think a lot of people were probably in the same shoes as us. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit more specifically football, but we'll there's some updates on volleyball, same old. So now, yeah, excited. Welcome back, and yeah, let's get started. We're gonna do the same kind of the same outline and just go through some soccer briefly. There's some news coming in. No announcements yet, but we're working on getting someone to help us out with soccer, just so we can get a little bit more information there. So shout out to Jonah using his journalistic connections there to be able to do that, so we can provide a better outlook there. But we can quickly kind of just go through some of soccer. We'll start with Centennial. Um, this is just an overview of all the athletics. So you had the girls JV soccer beat Oregon Mountain for this is the Hawks. They won 5-0. You got the boys varsity. They beat Oregon Mountain 1-0. And then you have JV soccer beating Oregon Mountain 2-1. And then you have just yesterday we had some games, so they just got updated there. But Centennial they got a clean sweep. The boys and the girls swept Cruces in soccer there. So congratulations to the Centennial Hawks. Any insights there on the Centennial team? We covering a little bit more some Gadsden and things like that, but congratulations to Centennial being able to close that out. I'm gonna open up. I'm gonna go first here to. I'm interested to see a little bit more on their records and what's happening here. Um, this is the first
Yeah, I
time kind
know
of going through this.
that the state selection will be Sunday, I believe, right? They just wrapped up their season.
Yeah. Yep.
So I assume that I think all of our Crucis teams might be in the picture at least for some playoff spots. I think they take what, 12 teams just like football, or is it more?
Yep. I believe it's 12. You can actually take a look at the standings. Hopefully, we don't get flagged for this. It wasn't a problem last time, so we're learning as we go. Yeah, so Gaston's still on top. Centennial there on at least district. They're up. They're super close there. So we have Gadsden, who I know they lost on Tuesday as well. So that was one of the losses at come 8-2. That was on Tuesday, and then the girls tied. I know that. I'm just trying to figure out. Um, we can just keep going. Um, so that's Centennial. Shout out Centennial for sweeping out Cruces there. Then you have the varsity boys for Mayfield beat Oregon Mountain, and then the varsity girls lost to Oregon Mountain 3-1 there. So some Las Cruces matchups there for us to take a look at. And then I mentioned Gadsden being on top on that division there. On the district, we have the girls varsity tie against Mayfield. That one is when we talked to the what's his name, the
Coach
Gadsden head coach.
Coach Baca, I believe.
Yep. Coach Baca. So congratulations to them. It's a tie. I know the girls are on top as well for their district. If not, they're like top three. So that's a tough matchup there. But it was a tie. So I think it's like half a point. I think it's a point system in soccer. And then the Gadsden boys, they are the top seed in district, and they brought it they brought it to Oregon, or I'm sorry, to Alamo.
Alamo.
This was on Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they beat Alamo, but I think they lost. Yeah, they lost to Mayfield 2-1 on Tuesday. So um there's some tight competition in district for boys soccer and girls soccer too. So cool there. And
Yeah,
then anything else for soccer?
I think I saw something on Coach Baca's Facebook page saying that they got third in district for the girls, Gatson wise, and that I think if this is correct, I should probably go check this. That it's their first time, which they're assuming that they're going to make the playoffs. So I think it's their first time, maybe under his tenure, or maybe just all time. I don't know what he meant by that, and that of course the I think Gatson boys usually are in it pretty often, but they want district for soccer, so that's good.
Cool.
Gatson's on their way. It'd be cool to see him in a state championship or something like that.
Yeah, heck yeah. I think that'd be awesome. The one thing that's unfortunate, similar to basketball, is that the tournament is always in Albuquerque. The tournament,
Oh,
it's always in Albuquerque, if I'm not mistaken. At least the 4 years that my sister played varsity, we were always going to Albuquerque for those tournaments because
is it?
it's a weekend, so everybody's kind of playing one another.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I guess that maybe they do like basketball, how it's like the first round is at the school, and then after that they go to Albuquerque. Is that how it goes,
Yeah,
or is
I
the whole
think
thing?
exactly. They'll play one home game wherever the top seed is at, and then there'll be a full tournament there. And soccer's just so weird because you play so many games. It's like baseball where you kind of just know everybody already, and you can knock out a tournament on a weekend, right? So in baseball, same
Yep.
thing. So they already have a lot of pre preseason tournaments, middle of the season, or off season tournaments, and so they're already seeing each other so much. I remember just having the feeling that until you got to like the semifinals or the state championship, it just felt like another tournament. It's not like the pit where you can just feel the environment being a little bit different. The bands are there. They're just everyone's just getting ready to play. So just all the parents of all the other schools are there. You have that feel, but um, you're still on a soccer field. You're still on the same field that you played on or that have played on probably even in middle school, right? So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I can't remember what the. I just know that it's like right by a Dion's, so we'd always go to the Dion's right
Okay.
afterwards. So, no free shout outs, but Dion's is the best.
They're getting free sponsorship from us.
Yeah.
But they probably take like basketball, how they take like a day in between the games, I assume, and all that, or is it like
um
they just knock it out within a certain amount of days?
Nah, man, you're playing and I mean, we talked about how physical soccer can be. You're playing
Wow.
pretty consistently, yeah.
Well, maybe they should change that up. I feel bad for the athletes, but I mean they're young, they're fine.
I'm yeah, young, and I think there's times where you'll have matches. I guess not in high school, but when you're playing a tournament, there might be times where you play twice in a day, and so there's
Mm,
just it's just the reality of soccer. But we'll talk more there. So we gave it its respect. We want to get into a deeper dive, and so we're working on that. And so, yeah. And then after that, we have. Let me hop back in here, and we can do some volleyball. Like I said, we did see that Cruces won again. They didn't lose a set, so they still are defending their one set record or one lost set
yeah.
so far. So um, this here is the Cruces freshmen. I mean, they're just sweeping just to show here a little bit. I'll highlight it. Cruces freshman beat Centennial 2-1. Cruces JV volleyball beat Centennial 2-0. I'm sorry, 2-0. 2-0 both ways. And
So your cops or my cops?
those are my cops. Oh man.
All right. I was like, I don't know
Shoot.
what I'm hearing right now.
The policia almost ran. You see me?
I was like, we're on edge right there. You
Yeah,
gotta watch
that's
out.
why I like blanked out. And then beating Centennial. So clean sweep, no sets by Centennial. So Cruces, man, they got a good organization. They got some talent. Oh my gosh, I wasn't sharing. Yeah. So here we go.
Very good. But I also want to. I think Coach Lupot is still there. I think he's coaching still because I saw that the records of last year because they did go back to back last year, so they're going for the three-peat this year. And I corrected ourselves on our little post, but it said that Coach Lupot was the last 2 years state champ coach, so that's pretty cool. I mean, the legend lives on for him, I guess.
Yeah. Now it's like, do you? No, I was gonna say, does he ride off into the sunset? But he's in the sunset, man. He's just a guy. He's out there
He's
during
living
basketball season,
life,
like I said.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and he loves what he does. I you can just tell that just from looking at him, seeing what uh, just being around the kids, being around sports, athletics, anything in general. He just wants to be involved with it, right? And so, I
yeah,
mean, good for him. We'll see. I know I mean, he had been around some time when I was in school, and I graduated in 13. So,
yeah,
yeah, that's going on 13 years.
yeah.
And history is what he taught as well. Is that what he did? Do
Yeah,
you have class with him?
yeah. I never had him. I had Coach Reynolds for history, but I remember he was. I think he's probably still the history teacher or something. But the athletes love him. I always hear good things about coming from them. And I mean, why would you stop doing something that makes you happy? So
Yep.
good for him.
Yep, absolutely. And then we have the varsity volleyball team for Mayfield. They were playing Oregon Mountain. Oregon Mountain was able to take that 3-2. So this is the example of once you get into more sets, you have to score less points.
Hmm.
So it's either 21 or 25, and then you will go down to 15 for the last
Yeah,
two sets, I believe. So um, we can open up the box score and see if it gives specifics there. Yeah, so it's 25, and oh dang, look at how close that was. Oregon Mountain, they went extra. That's what that means. They're the 26,
so you
26,
gotta win by
28.
two, right?
Yep. So you have to win by two, but not, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, all the way across. In high school, you have to win by two. So it's 25, so they went up to 28. So it's pretty close here.
That's a
Mayfield was
close
up
match.
2-1. Mayfield was up 2-1 after three sets, and then Oregon Mountain was able to sweep them. So they were able to pull away there. Shout out to Oregon Mountain, and look at that. I mean, they got the same record. That's an identical. That's a good head-to-head matchup right there. Here's some of the stats for both Oregon Mountain and Mayfield. So shout out to them. Heck yeah, good to see that. Love to see some good comp there. Let's see. Let's go back here. We talked Cruces. We talked Centennial. What's left? Oh, Gadsden volleyball, right?
Yeah, I wonder. We gotta find out or if they watch these, someone can maybe pass it along. Just the coaches of all these teams, maybe have them on here and just give us a little snippet of their
Yeah.
seasons and whatnot. That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
So
it's hard. I know we could have been doing a better job of getting some of the preseason info there, but yeah, the help would be appreciated just to get some more information on just not the stats and more on the story behind it, right? So yeah,
yeah.
good for them. And then now let's move on to some high school basketball. Or I'm sorry, high school football. This
I
is
was gonna say
where
basketball. They're playing basketball
basketball
already.
already? Oh man, there's so many people
Oh,
are
okay.
like, "Oh, you guys are a basketball podcast, huh?" No, we're all sports. Is just we got some traction in basketball,
We
but we're gonna
we took
we're
the
gonna get some
jump on
traction, right?
basketball.
Yeah.
We
Well, we got
we went
challenged.
all
Remember,
for it.
remember when we got challenged? We got challenged to what was it? If you can get a bucket on me or something. That guy on Twitter. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that was funny. But yeah, football. We got some that's where kind of conversation started to happen, and we're gonna sit here for a little bit. Um, do you really think Cruces is gonna lose to Centennial? Because there's a lot of people who are giving you some crap here. What do you got to say for yourself?
I'm glad you brought that up because I want to clarify myself. I do not think that Cruces will lose to Centennial. I was just saying when you asked me the question, what they could do to stop, and they could stop the run and make Guardiola throw the ball. But in that case, actually, Amaro is one of their other top receivers who can line up whenever he wants, wherever he wants, and he's actually a really good route runner for a running back. You know, you see some running backs that are kind of like stiff going uh, running the route tree and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see any school from Cruces beating or from our district beating them in now or the playoffs. And it's gonna have to be one of those that way teams north to knock us off. So I have complete confidence in uh, Cruces. So and Coach Lopez, and just like you said, the DNA, the tradition, everything that Cruces is about.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't get that. Obviously, we can't post the entire conversation that we have, right? And so, appreciate the
Yeah.
clicks and the engagement on social media. But the point is that Centennial is not. We're not just going to say, oh yeah, Cruces is gonna run them out of the field of dreams, right? That's just not going to happen either. And so, I think there is a possibility where Centennial can get some advantages uh, on Cruces. I think it's going to take some lucky bounces, maybe a fumble, special
Yes,
teams. I
sir.
mean, we talked about special teams, and so there is an opportunity there. But Cruces High is the number one team in the state for a reason. Um, but we're looking at number two team in the state, or number three potentially two in Centennial after this next week, where we were talking about Titletown. We can have number one, number two matchup again for Cruces in the Field of Dreams on Halloween, which is really exciting. You can't just be like, oh yeah, it's going to be a walk in the park, right? Because Cruces and Centennial can arguably be the best teams in the state right now. So, um, no, I think there's a possibility for Centennial to make it exciting, and then just get some lucky breaks. That's all you need.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be like a nitpick, but I don't know if Centennial can jump that far up, but uh, I think they lost to Hobbs, and Hobbs is the 3 seed, unless Hobbs somehow loses next week, and then of course Cleveland is the 2 seed, and they only have one loss, and I don't see them losing anytime soon. But yeah, like you said, we still got top notch football. Centennial jumped up back to number 4 with the top seed buys.
Hmm.
So with that, with Volcano Vista losing to Rio Rancho, I believe. So it's all there. Like it's exciting. We have again two top four teams in Las Cruces. So and if you have nothing to do, go and watch them. Go support them. Like there's some athletes, and I also wanted to mention too, like Centennial's DBs, like they match up pretty well against just like Cruces. They have good DBs. Um, but I just want to mention like cornerback and like safety, like when you're guarding another person for that long, that's such a hard position.
Yeah.
Like next to quarterback, I think it's probably the hardest position in football. Is like you got to stay with the guy for 5 7 seconds, and if it's like a scramble drill, you got to that's like 10 seconds right there. Like it's a hard job. So, but I always like mentioning them because these kids like, and I always like tell people like whenever they like celebrate like their incomplete pass or something, like yeah, do what you want. Like you just went 7 seconds mirroring another guy, so good for you. That's my spill about cornerback right there.
Yeah. Okay. What position did you play in high school?
I played receiver and I got reps at the corner, but I didn't really. A good
Okay.
reason, I guess. Coach Ocampo knew what he was
Yeah.
doing.
Okay. That's what I was like. Did you play corner? Is that why you're saying that? Um, I mean, yeah. I think DBs do. They have. I think every position is difficult. I think everybody has
Yeah,
a unique job to do, right? Um, but there's so many different factors, and I think I get annoyed a lot, and I saw it during the Aggie game, where everyone was doing like the clamp or like the seatbelt thing, where it's
yeah,
like lockdown. It's like, bro, the ball was 10 feet over the receiver, bro. Like, what do you? I get it. Like, quarterback threw it up just so it wouldn't be caught. There was good coverage, but there's
Yeah, in
times,
that
man, where
case,
it's just like,
no, in that case, yeah, when it's like a completely bad throw, like yeah, you don't got to celebrate that. If you like dove and like tipped it away and stuff, like that's a reasonable celebration.
yeah, it's just if you mess up your assignment on a play and the receiver's wide open, there's still a chance the quarterback didn't see him,
Hmm.
didn't throw the ball right, or the pressure got to the quarterback, and so you don't get punished for that, right? And so my argument, I am on the offense. I was offensive line. I think offensive line has the hardest. I think has the hardest job because if you lose your matchup, um,
You're exposed.
you're exposed. Whether it's a run play, whether it's a pass play, your quarterback can get hurt, and it changes the entire dynamic of a game, right? So, yeah, every position is different. It's like, but yeah, I cornerbacks always. It's like they get to show off. Wide receivers the same thing, right? It's like
That's
you
true.
catch
Yeah.
5 balls. It's like I don't know. That's why that has nothing to do with being difficult, but yeah, it is what it is. Shout out to the DBs. They're fun. I like to watch them. Cool.
And it's funny now that I was DB, whatever skill position in high school, I always wish I was an O line or a defensive lineman back in the day because it just looks fun when you guys pull and like I don't know. He's like it's always hands on. Like you're in the trenches, bro. Like you got work nonstop. Sometimes when you're out there, you're like you don't get too much action. So, but it is what it is. Maybe with
It's
my
fun.
body built now, ooh, I'd be a nose guard, brother. I'd be the best in the state.
I mean, number one, put me in, coach.
Right?
No, it's hard, and you have to know all the plays. You have to know what's happening,
Yeah.
where your assignments, all everything that's happening. Um, Coach Hall was the offensive coach or offensive line coach when I was in Cruces, and I remember my sophomore year for lunch. I mean, it was just we got to learn. We have to be just as knowledgeable as the quarterback, is what he kept saying. We had to know what was happening, and so there's also a lot of intelligence there. But I mean, corners as well. They have to be able to know, especially when you're running a zone. When you're running zone, you have to know where
Oh
you got to
yeah.
be, when you have help, when you don't have help. So there's just so many things where when you say you play football, it has nothing to do with throwing or catching a ball half the time, if not 80% of the time. Most of it is, can you block? Can you get off the line? All those
Yep.
different things. So I love football. Is just I love football. There's just so many things
Yeah.
going on where you can just be terrible at catching a football and still be.
Oh,
I
you're
mean,
smart. You're in
yeah,
there.
yeah. You could be the highest paid football player. I mean, in in the country, and not a defensive end. All he does is bull rush. I
Yep.
mean, not all, but coverage. They're not catching the ball. You better, I guess, at some point. But yeah, um, but you're right. Thanks for fact checking me. 6'2". I had seen them at 4. I didn't see the standings. I didn't see who it was. I knew Cruces had beat Cleveland, but you're right. Centennial being at 4, they'll probably stay there. The only way that they go up to 3 is if Hobbs loses, right? Because you said the head to head,
Yeah.
Hobbs owns that. Okay.
And I think 4 is a good spot for them. I think I don't like I said Centennial kind of has like bad history whether it just gets to their heads like whenever they're 2 or I don't know if they've ever been 1 in 6A, but it just doesn't work out that way for them. So I'm glad they're at 4. I'd wish they would actually be like a 5 and just play a first round game and just kind of get the bad mojo away and kind of get their groove going. But it is what it is. Everyone needs a rest. Their body needs a rest for sure. I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
I mean, if that's what you're hoping for, um, Centennial, let's say, right? Let's
Hmm.
pencil it in that Cruces
Hmm.
beat Centennial. Centennial's going to have to go down. Volcano Vista will probably go up. Will get bumped up to 4,
Oh,
right? So there's still games to be played. What I don't like here is that Cruces' strength of schedule. How is it so low?
oh,
They're
and this is
rated.
what I want to talk about too. I wanted to like write a piece about this. Max Preps doesn't have like what's a 1? Like what's in the beginning of the season it was like 17 for Cleveland and Cruces, and I'm like confused. Like, and I tried looking it up. I tried googling like the system that they use or how they like what's a good number to have as strength of schedule, and it's just it's madness. It's confusing to me, and I think it's confusing to everyone else. And maybe NMA just kind of takes out the strength of schedule tier and just kind of maybe does something else with it. I don't know because it don't make sense to me. Oh no, you're muted. There
Maybe
you go.
it's just that
Maybe I'm
we
just dumb.
maybe something's not being updated, and
Mm,
it's just something that just automatically happens, right? And so
yeah,
there's a lot of information on Max Preps that has to be manually inputted by administration of the schools or whether it be journalist, whoever it is that does the work on updating all this stuff. It has to be put in, right? So we
yeah,
kind of went through the same thing with basketball and all the other sports, and the reason why we don't know too much about the other sports that are going on, let's call them the major sports, right? There's just not a lot of information, because look at Volcano Vista at a zero point 0.2. Like, what does that even mean? And
yeah,
I mean, at this point, you look at Cruces as number one with one as their strength. They've played Cleveland and beat Cleveland, right?
yeah,
They're gonna play Centennial, so they've already played. They've already played two of the top four teams in the state, and they have
yeah,
one. You know, um, who knows? Who knows why that happens? Somehow Centennial has a stronger schedule, but yeah,
yeah.
you got Alamo at 12.
Oh, I hope Alamo
Yeah,
makes the playoffs. I mean, they've had a good year. It just sucks that they're in the toughest 6A district, I think, especially with travel and stuff. So I talked to that coach, Coach Cisco, a lot last year when I was there, and he's a good coach. Like he just cares for his kids, and those Alamo kids just want to win, and they have a lot of tradition too. It's just like I said, like they're like the smaller 6A school for football. So, but they got a good quarterback in Nathaniel Best. Like he's an athlete. He's fast. He's tall. He got better at throwing this year. So I hope they get that experience this year.
and who do they play next? Alamo. Oh, they'll play Clovis. Okay.
Okay,
Who do
what's
they
the last
got?
game?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yikes.
is it?
Forty-seven
Let's
zero.
see.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, they play
this will be their
next week.
last
Okay,
game. So wow, they got a bye at the end. Did they not have a bye the whole season? And it's like, all right, there you
I
go.
think that's I think that's what Oregon Mountain did. They either
Yeah.
they didn't schedule a 10th game or they had a bye next week. So like their season's done because they lost yesterday to Hobbs, which was interesting to me. I was like, wow,
Hmm.
it seemed like a quick wrap up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we have Mayfield as the lone 5A for football. 2-6, rough season. They're playing Roswell today. We're recording on a Friday, so they're playing later on today. So we'll see how that one goes, and then they'll play Artesia, who we talked
Oof,
about. Man,
that's
that's
a tough.
yeah,
That's tough going for end of the season. And I think either last week or 2 weeks ago they lost their. I don't know if they lost, but the quarterback got hurt. I think his last name's Ochoa, and
yeah,
he was like their offense. So I don't know if he's not playing. It would make sense with kind of their how their season's going, but you know, eh, everyone has a bad year, down year. So I think they'll uh, hopefully they're playing some of their younger kids so they can get that experience and just maybe get a edge up next year when they get back to varsity level.
yeah, yeah. We'll see. I mean, it's a revolving door, right? And so hopefully
Hmm.
you're developing your freshmen and your sophomores into. I mean, they're big, man. That was the one thing that stood out to me was that offensive line and even their defensive line was really big, and so is
Talking
it the
Mayfield.
coaching? Yeah, for Mayfield. I'm sorry. Yeah, for
Okay.
Mayfield. Um, and so some of the coaching is just trying to get your kids in the best position to win, right? And so
Yeah.
I mean Ochoa was protected well. I mean, the one game that I watched of Mayfield was against Cruces, and it just
Oh, that's right.
You could tell there was a mismatch there, but yeah, I think if you can have big if you can have big offensive linemen, it doesn't mean you're going to be successful, but you're at least at a good starting point, right? And then now teaching them how to block, teaching them how to move. So yeah, I'm hoping Mayfield can do something in the future because they're in a different district. They're in a different class, which means that we can have two state champions. So
Yeah, and they got close last year. They made it to the semifinals. Uh, and it'd be interesting for us, hopefully maybe next summer or even off season, like we get a invite to go to these workouts or practices, and we can kind of see, not expose them, but like just see the different style of coaching, like you said, like because especially like linemen and like your footwork and like schemes and all that, like it's interesting to hear the different lingo when they all mean the same thing, but of course everyone has like their different. All right, this is Mike or uh, like Centennial, we would green a lineman, meaning we're not blocking him or something like that. So, and Cruces was completely different. I didn't understand Cruces. I only went there to my sophomore year, and it's a good thing I left because I didn't understand any of the plays, and I probably would have learned it, my next couple years, but you know, it was totally different language. I know you muted again.
I keep muting you just so I can. I the last time last episode it kept there were some times there where I could hear myself when you were talking. So,
Okay, no, you're
but
good.
we're learning.
It's all
No,
good.
I maybe Coach Miller was just like, I'm gonna confuse these guys because they're going to some of these are gonna go to Centennial, so he started being sneaky with it. Um, but I think
No, I wouldn't have put that bad. He did tell us right away. He's like, if you're going to Centennial, I'm not gonna keep you in the program because what am I gonna get someone else stronger for when they're gonna compete against us? And me, I made my decision last second, so I stayed and got bigger and stronger.
stronger.
So yeah, for sure.
That's such a. I mean, I love Coach Miller. Obviously won a lot, and that competitive spirit is probably why he won so much. And the strategic mindset of like, nah, I'm not helping somebody else. But at the same time, like, come on, man, you do camps, and a lot of the kids aren't going to go to cruises, and you're still developing them, right? And so, I
Yeah.
mean, if you're in this program, I don't know, it's just 1 year, one transition. Things were weird, but I don't know. That's interesting there. Um, but yeah, anything else for football? You good? You apologized well? No, no.
No, yeah, I'm good. I'm ready for playoffs. I think we just get through these last 2 weeks. It'll go quick, and then boom, playoff time, baby. We got to get out there and get that crisp November air. That means state championships on its way. So exciting times for sure. I'm definitely excited.
Cool. And then finally, some Aggie sports.
Okay.
You were at the game.
I
I watched it
was.
on TV. So there was a couple things that I noticed that you might not have, but I want to get your perspective first. It's our
Oh God.
first home game loss. So
Yes.
it's not time for a panic button. I think it was a competitive game. Fife struggled, but yeah, hit me with what you saw live.
What did I see live? I for one, I was kind of glad with the turnout for attendance. I thought it was a pretty decent attendance for a Wednesday night. There was other stuff going on for sure. Like there's an eighth grade championship football game and the Field of Dreams. Um, I thought actually uh, Missouri, right, was we played Missouri
Yep.
State.
Hmm.
Their sideline had a lot of energy, and even like I would check in between, and their guys were chirping with the student section. And usually you see that, but this one was like a little more, uh, I guess, explicit, if that makes sense. And so I just liked their energy, and from when I saw that at the beginning of the game, I was like, this might not be good for us, just because on our side it didn't we didn't match that energy right away, and that translated to Fife throwing what like three picks during the regular. time and then one in overtime to end the game.
Yeah.
So uh, I just didn't think our energy was there, and I don't know if that helps you with what you're asking me, but from that, that's what I kind of got from the game.
Yeah, I just think there's a different experience from there's like a with the announcers kind of carrying a story throughout the whole game, right? And then there's different
Mhm.
insights. So like I know I text you when it was like the third quarter. It was the second drive of the second half, and King wasn't on the field. It was like a three and out,
Oh yeah,
and that's what they were talking about, and they were trying to figure out if he was hurt or if he just wasn't playing. What happened? Um, but I mean,
I tw- I tweeted about that too. I was like, why isn't he in? Like at that point,
yeah,
he was in for maybe 10, maybe 12 snaps of the whole game, and we needed him. Like he got like 60 plus yards the last couple of games, or like 100 yards the first game he was there. And then I mean, you saw that whenever he got the punt return, he uh, sparked a life for us, and then we scored at the fourth quarter. I was confused too. I was trying to get like insights. Like I think I even tagged the Sun News reporter, like, "Hey, what's going on?" So, and I don't think he even asked that. He probably should have asked that question at the end of the game.
I mean, he was hurt. Um,
Okay,
he was hurt to start the season, so we didn't have him for the first half.
yeah, it's
So
hamstring.
yeah, so maybe there's like some tightness there where it's like, hey, we're just gonna use you in like critical situations.
Yeah,
But I would imagine early in the second half when you're trying to establish some type of momentum, where we were down. Um,
yeah,
and I don't want to discount that we did take it to overtime and we were down. We had three interceptions, four at the end, right? But we were still competitive, which means our defense that usually does a lot better struggled. Fife struggled, and we were still really close there. And so,
our defense had what three
yeah,
takeaways too. Shout out to
yeah,
them.
yeah. I mean, it was a battle of defense because I don't think either quarterback really played to how they usually do. But I mean, again, that's football. That you're beating. You just gotta beat every single play. You gotta beat the man in front of you. And I think
Yeah,
defense on both sides, that's what they just kept doing. They just kept beating each other up. Um,
yeah,
so it was too bad. I wish we could have gone for. We should have figured out a way to get an extra point. And we missed a block. We missed a field goal. Was it blocked? Right? I I,
yeah.
I
They
missed
tipped it.
that, but
Yeah,
we blocked a was it a point extra? Extra point?
for they blocked our field goal attempt. I don't
Okay.
remember any other blocks. I think that was it.
I missed the first. It was like the first, like that time there. I missed a little bit of the game, and I didn't go back to see. But I mean, we're so close to being able to win that one, stay undefeated at home, and we're talking about bowl being able to be eligible for a bowl game. We still have that game in UTEP where it can definitely be essentially
Yeah,
a home game. So we can make up for it there. We got a little what do we
bothers me
call it? A
so
little
much that we
wild
lost
card.
that
We
game.
got a wild card for that game.
Yeah, the New Mexico State football team made me shave my head. If you noticed, uh, they drove
Yeah,
me
the Britney
crazy.
Spears
No, I'm
moment.
just kidding. That's what I was telling my siblings and my dad. I was like, yeah, the Aggies drove me to this, but no, it's funny because this team is like, well, I guess quarterback, and I don't want to pick on it because that's a hard spot too. But like you
Hmm.
said, football's hard. Every job is like you got a job, you got to do it,
Yeah.
and it just feels like back then when like the Doug Martin days when we didn't have consistency at quarterback, and like we have so many great athletes around, like receivers, linemen, and they're playing their tails off. But then that one spot, the position that touches the ball every single time, when that man does not his best, it reflects on the scoreboard. And I just wish too, like in maybe overtime. I think I forget his name, but our OC. I just don't think that was the right call. Like we should have kind of copied what they did and just kind of soften the defense, run the ball a little bit. I mean, Callaway had 50 yards, but then we went away from him again, and it just bothers me because he's better running outside like an outside zone, and but better than in between the tackles. And we started doing that, and we just kind of went away from it again. Of course, like when we're down so many points, we want to throw the ball, right? And but not an OT. Like we could have kind of just played a little hesitant and then took some shots. Like it's OT is untimed too. Like the only thing we're doing is fighting against is really the play clock, right? And like you gotta
Play clock
match the
and
score.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that
Really
bothered
play
me so
clock and then
much.
obviously downs, but we needed to score a touchdown and I think that scared us.
Yeah, it's just sometimes the coaching. I'm just confused, and I don't want to like scare them away or insult them to where they don't want to be maybe a future guest or something. But I'm like, come on, like I coached middle school and high school, and I kind of feel like I knew a little better than that. And I think most fans in the stadium were a little surprised too that we threw right away, and when he had already three interceptions. But it is what it is. They played well, but not at the quarterback position.
Yeah, I think Five has that. He has that game changing ability, but I think
Mhm.
we had talked about it even throughout the season. He's always just late, and at the college level, especially the teams that we're playing, you can afford to be just a tad late. But whenever you're doing that, and then you're also not as accurate as you usually are, that's what's going to happen. So there's always those plays where the ball is thrown to the feet of the receiver, and it's like, okay, cool, it's second down, and then he makes up for it, right? But
Mhm.
those little mistakes is what's always going to catch up to us. And was is it Liberty? We played Liberty, and I remember saying, "It's like we don't even need to run this, or we don't need to be passing this ball.
Yeah,
We could just run the whole time." And
you
we
said
passed
that.
it, and
Yeah,
we
you
scored.
did.
And then yeah, I said that. But then this week, or this past, I guess this week, right on Wednesday,
Mhm.
um, we ended up passing the ball and there was interceptions where there's little mistakes where you're seeing it and then you need to identify where like even when you win a game you still have to go back and learn from some of those mistakes. And
Yeah,
against Liberty we should have kept running the ball. We got into the red zone by like 6 or 7 runs in a row and it's like we got the momentum, let's just keep doing this. And then you pass the
exactly. We were
ball.
so terrible at running before then, and then we had such a
Yeah,
great game. Like, why do we go away from that?
yeah,
Our our backs, we have some good backs, and even like whenever he gets like traffic around him, Five, he gets little happy feet, and he just he like it's like he runs into the sacks. He runs himself into sacks.
yeah.
Uh, if he doesn't really get happy feet, maybe he stays in the pocket and just delivers a somewhat ball that these athletes at receiver can make some pretty good catches to, or even just throw it away. There's one where he remember he threw it away and it didn't even make it out of bounds, and they caught it. So I don't know. I don't know at this point.
Yeah, it's hard, and I mean we would have a different tone if we would have gotten that field goal in the first half. We would have won by 3 and no pasa nada. Everything's fine. So not to overreact, not to kind of freak out about a loss. Should we have beat this team? Yes, but now we have to go to Western Kentucky, which is one of the top teams in the conference. Watch Kennesaw game. I think the following day they played. I love that weekday Conference USA thing.
Me
I
too.
think I think that is the most valuable thing for Conference USA as like a program as a conference. I think that's really attractive uh, because we're not playing on Saturdays, but you can still recruit players and say you're going to be on TV, right?
Yeah.
Because realistically, whatever team you're going to go to, unless you're a 4 star, 4 and above, for the most part, you're going to be playing on Saturdays, and you might get 3 or 4 games in a year on national television. You go to Conference USA and you have a chance for 4 or 5 with no other games. You're not competing against the Alabama, the
For
Georgias,
real.
the Auburns, the LSUs, the Notre Dames. You are playing during the week. People are chilling. They don't got nothing to do. And I mean,
LeBron
that's where I
James is
find
watching
myself.
you.
And you're watching it. Yeah, exactly. I think that
Yeah.
is really, really powerful for Conference USA because it also gives us an opportunity to actually be able to see these. And so I watch Kennesaw State, and I think there's some possibility there where we can beat them. Um,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if we could beat the Vols though. That one, I think we're just gonna write that one off. I'm not gonna use a pencil. I'm gonna put my pen to paper on that baby,
Yeah.
and Well, and there's no way we're going to Tennessee. Um, but let's see. I think this will be helpful for Fife to be like, okay, yeah, I need to get my timing down. I need to get
Yeah,
my accuracy up. We need to figure out how to run the ball at the appropriate times, not get too stingy. I think there's a that's a good position for us to be in to finish up then now two more games after that we need to win so
yeah.
we can get a bowl game, right? And so I think we're set up in a good spot to be able to do that. So we'll see.
Hey, I mean, we had that same kind of situation in whenever we first made our bowl in 2016 or 2017. I
Hmm.
forget which year. We had to win the last game of the season to get
16.
in, and that was a cool environment. Yeah, I think it was 16.
Yeah, no,
But
there's some possibility here to be able to make a bowl, have some fun, go bowling. I mean, I haven't been bowling in a while, so yeah, Western Kentucky is going to be very, very difficult. I think that
yeah,
is, I mean, other than Tennessee, obviously that's a ranked team, the SEC. So, I mean, come on. But as far as the other four games left, Western Kentucky is number one. Middle Tennessee is up there where they're trying to climb up the standings as well. We're in the middle of the pack for a conference that is, man, I've seen on social media where we're the worst FBS conference in the nation.
I
Um,
see that too. But
I don't know, man.
I don't understand these people.
I don't know. I think it's competitive. I know Missouri State is one of those new schools that they're not eligible. I think for like, I don't know if it's
Yeah,
bowls completely
postseason. Yeah,
or yeah or because the top is it there's five teams that can get an automatic bid to the playoffs, right?
I forget about that.
I
Yeah,
think yeah. So, and then from there, it's the Power Four, and then it's the top conference champion gets an automatic bid to the playoffs. So, I mean, we're talking about the Aggies being able to play not this season, but we're talking about a real possibility of within the next 10 years of being able to see the Aggies potentially go and play in the college football playoff. That'd be pretty
I
cool.
like that. I like that attitude, and I hope our AI
You don't
system
believe
clips
me.
that
You don't believe me.
and puts it on. I do believe you. I just this team plays with my emotions so much that I don't even know whether to say if we're gonna make a bowl this year or in the future. So I don't know. They hurt me. They hurt me too many times.
Uh, yeah, I mean, you grow up
Yeah.
an Aggie fan. I mean, I don't know. Just seeing it's a win just to see that many students on a Wednesday afternoon or
Hell
evening.
yeah. Good job,
Um,
students. I'm proud of the
yeah,
students.
I mean, I think we got a new athletic director who's making some changes.
Mr.
We're
Fields.
upgrading our stadium. NIL is something that I think could be an advantage for us. I know it's
Yeah, I
hard.
think
I know we're not getting all the
Fields
money, but
Fields has some good ideas, I think so. Our new AD. So yeah, you're right. We're on the way up. Positivity, man.
yeah, man. Anything else? Anything else we're missing? Sports for the Aggies, volleyball. I know very little of them about what's going on there, so I won't even attempt there. But no, yeah, I'm excited. We got some games. Obviously, I won't shout out the games that are happening on Friday for college or for high school football because we'll probably post this a little bit later. But there's go ahead and take a look at the website LCPS. The LCPS Athletics does a really good job of you could choose the school that you want to see, and then that's what I'm using when I'm sharing this my screen. Is
Yeah.
LCPS has great links that just sends everybody to Max Prep so you can see all the games that are happening. The point of the podcast is to inform people and get people off their butts, off their couches, people who are bored, over to see these games and to be able to support our local talent. We've seen from last semester, there's a lot of athletes that are already at the college level
Sure.
that are doing cool stuff. So we never know who we're seeing at home that might be playing on TV sometime. So yeah, you good? Anything else
Yes,
we got to
sir. And
cover?
No, I think Isaiah, a loyal viewer and fellow host, mentioned that he wants to add to your backdrop, so he has a couple of jerseys from the Cruces and Oregon Mountain he wants to hang up. So shout out to those coaches who got you those jerseys. So I'll
Oh,
give them to you soon.
heck yeah. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
I'll have to pin them up somehow. I'm this
Yeah,
is
we.
my first like actual apartment where, and so I'm like scared to put holes into everything. So
Oh
I
shoot, yeah,
I
that's
I
right.
promise the rest of my apartment doesn't look like this. It's just office. But I do get really really scared of what I'm going to put on the walls and like make sure I get my deposit back. So
Yeah, we'll just tape that. We'll tape it with some scotch tape. How about that? We'll figure it out.
I'll put some thumbnails and then just we'll figure it out. But
Yeah, we'll be
all right.
fine.
Cool. Thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Behave.
Peace
Oh,
out.
Isaiah would say be nice, be kind, be generous, and be helpful.
Oh
Summarized,
yeah,
made it different. But what Isaiah says plus what I say. Um,
you cliff noted it.
yeah,
Got to think.
go be great.